More and more are joining them. The players are rejoicing.
Welcome to the Old Glammy Glammy podcast, a podcast dedicated to all things Glamorgan cricket. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, give us a follow on Twitter at Old Glammy Glammy or Instagram, search Old Glammy Glammy podcast. So sit back and enjoy with us the ups and probably downs of Glamorgan County Cricket Club.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Oh Glammy Glammy podcast with me, Andy Ward, and alongside me is Ed Lockett.
Yeah, hello.
We are recording this day after the defeat at Leicestershire, which we will reflect on this podcast. We will also be previewing the next County Championship Division 1 fixture, which is Hampshire, and that will be taking place at Sapphire Gardens later this week. Before we get on to dissecting what happened at Leicestershire, we will just round up some of the club news. A day after we recorded the pod last week, the club confirmed the signing of Ray Toole, which we knew they were in the process of doing, but they also announced the return of Mir Hamza, who is returning to the club, and he will be available for selection for the final 5 County Championship matches of this season. Left arm seamer, and he played for Glamorgan during the 2024 campaign. Strong start in that spell he had at Glamorgan. So looking forward to having him back. Ray Toole committed himself quite well in the game against Leicestershire. And we've also got Colin Ingram as our other overseas player. So that gives us 3 overseas options to play with. Interesting how they juggle the 2 bowlers, because linked to these signings, and we did touch on it on the last pod, but the club has issued a statement regarding men's team's injuries, and they have confirmed officially now that Ned Lennon, Tom Norton will miss the rest of this season, sustaining back injuries. They are concentrating on targeting a full return to fitness ahead of next season. So we obviously wish both of them well and a speedy recovery on their road to back to full fitness. Jay McElroy has a shoulder injury and he's not quite been ruled out for the season yet. He's going through rehab at the moment. Unfortunately for Conor Riley, he's also recovering from a groin injury and has beginning to increase his training loads. So they could be available for selection for the final 5 games in the championship, but we'll wait and see if either of those force their way back into the first 11. So positive that have got the reinforcement from Mir Hamza, and yeah, good that Ray Toole now signed on for the final 5 games, and he obviously played the Leicestershire game as well. The seconds are in action. They started the game against Leicestershire men seconds today. Fortunately, Glamorgan haven't started that well. They did win the toss, selected to bat, but they only made 215 all out. No real impacts made with the back. Romano Franco did make 77. Eddie Byron 16. Not really forcing his way back into the Red Bull team anytime soon. They're opening with Jacob Bell. He got 22. So it'll be interesting to see if he could get some more runs coming in at 2. Will Smale 19. Alex Horton 1. And Henry Hill 11. So no real contributions to the bat. Billy Root not in the team, so that leads me to think that he will be in the squad for the Hampshire fixture. We can discuss that in a little bit when we're thinking about Hampshire. So I think it's all the relevant club news. Turning our attention then to this main subject of today, the Leicestershire defeat. They won by 42 runs in the end. Yeah, a few talking points from this one. And the starting 11 was exactly as we predicted. Andy Gorvin was the other seam option alongside Tim Van Gerten, who played a few times as well in the One Day Cup. Mason Crane, Ray Toole, Chris Cook, Sean Dixon, Colin Ingram, Ben Calloway, Keane Carson, Asa Tribe, and Zain Al-San. We did win the toss and we decided to field, so clearly we were backing ourselves to chase down the total in the 4th innings, whenever that was going to be. Leicestershire, well, we started really strongly in terms of the bowling department, getting them all out for 151. I'm thinking, right, Kim Carlson's done the right move here. bowling first. At that point, I was like, oh, okay, if we get a decent lead, we may only need to bat once potentially, as has been the way in previous victories this year, but wasn't to be. In terms of the wickets, Tim Van Gogh got 2 for 51, seven maidens. Ray 2 got 3 for 48, six maidens. I think that's a decent return on his debuts. Zayn Al Hassan 1 for 24, Andy Gorvin 2 for 18, and Ben Kellaway 1 wicket for no runs off 2 overs. So good. I thought great bowling performance getting 151 with our strong batting lineup. We should get that. I think, as we mentioned on preview for this match, that different forms coming into this game off the back of the One Day Cup. Leicestershire riding high, clearly made it through to the final. Glamorgan, only those 2 wins. Mixed fortunes. And I was thinking, okay, well, different competition, back to the Red Bull, got our main batters back. And yes, hope they hit the ground running and they don't need a period of adjusting. By then, the first things we knew where we were, but we had a 1-run lead. Disappointing, but I will mention the pitch now. Having seen the photos and saw the live stream, I hadn't seen the state of the pitch when they beat Yorkshire before we had the break for the white ball. But apparently they prepared the pitch exactly the same. Either end was normal looking pitch, and then the middle there was a lot of grass on it. So I think it was best described as short back and sides. I've never seen it before, and clearly there was a variation of bounce. I think Richard Dawson's come out and said he was surprised with the variation bounce on day one. I think obviously our batters found it difficult. 152 all. We were 4 for 1. Zayn went for naught, which is obviously a concern, but he provides that bowling option. And the only meaningful contribution really came with Ace Strike got 19, but it was Mason Crane 44 that got using partnerships with most of the other batters. So just, as you can tell, slightly disappointed, but we didn't adapt and found ourselves one red ahead, neck and neck essentially. And then Leicester's fared a lot better, 257 all out. Sheridan Gums got a 93, set the tone really well. In terms of our wickets, Raves 2 got 2 for 45. Van der Guyten bowled 17 overs, 154. If you can give him a break, I think he probably will come back refreshed. Games in September. Zayn Hassan got 3 for 46. He is taking wickets and he is looking sharp. Gorvin 1 for 36. Kellaway 1 for 22. Mason Crane 1 for 43. And just remind myself that Crane did bowl in the first innings, so he did get 12 overs in the second. So 257. And Glamorgan then fell short by 42. Although Kieran Carl's got 99 not out, didn't quite get to that century. Chris Cook 33. Didn't watch the game on the last day, but I was refreshing my scores thinking, okay, Cook can just stay there. And if you could build a partnership with Crane, take it down to like 30 runs or 25 runs, then Van der Guyten could definitely hold the bat. I was quietly confident that we would do it, but we fell short of 42. So now the post-mortem, Carlson and I think Richard Dawson have come out and mentioned the pitch. I think it's confirmed that the ECB are investigating the pitch. I have to see what they decide. In terms of Glamorgan, that doesn't help in terms of our position in the league. Let's be realistic. The possibility of winning it now, I think, is gone. Not getting many points on this. We only got 3 points. Leicester got 19. The fact that we do find it difficult to transition into September, I mentioned that over the last couple of podcasts. So that does concern me. Obviously got the injuries. Going in September, I'm never that confident. So I think we just need to consolidate our position, not worry about any those above us now. Just need to look behind us. That made me think today that, okay, we're not going to be awarded any points from this. But obviously Leicestershire, the only benefit we could possibly get if we get dragged down to the bottom, that Leicestershire do end up getting points taken off them, or some sort of penalty or whatever, which would then increase the gap between us and them. But we'll have to wait and see. Both teams batted twice on it. Carlson got a 99, but I'll be honest, I didn't watch enough of it to be able to say that Richard Dawson's absolutely right or not. But yeah, seems a decent chap, been around a while. We'll also wonder whether or not, because he may have closer links to the ECB given his role as a coach of the Lions and involved in 100, whether or not he has some influence inside. I don't know. That's just me being a fan from the outside and hoping that he kind of does. The table then, we are fourth, 110 points. We are now 20 points behind Warwickshire, and then Somerset are above us, 23 points above us in second, and Nottinghamshire leading the way on 135. Looking down the bottom of the table, Hampshire now 75 points, Leicestershire to 91, Surrey 94, and Essex 107. Yorkshire are 108 points, Sussex 108, and we are 110. So, well, it's bunching up in the middle. So this game against Hampshire now is very important that we don't gift them a glut of points, 20 odd points, because they would bunch up with us then. Bit more pressure on it now. We are at home, which we've had decent results there. Obviously, this year got a couple of victories. For bring Ed in to remind us about Hampshire and maybe provide a little bit more info on that on their recent result on the weekend. Just a reminder, when we played Hampshire in May, this was the game where we batted first, made 536. Carlson got his 143, Carlson 209. And then we bowled them out twice and we won by an innings of 69 runs. That would be lovely if we could do that again. But I feel we may not be in the same form as we were then. I think this is a really big game, especially if we're going to get it back on track, consolidate, and give us a bit more comfortable September. Ed, your thoughts on the Leicestershire game and then Hampshire? You see that?
I saw a few photos of the Leicestershire wicket, and I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. I don't think I've never seen it done that way. So I think it's a real shame, obviously, that Glammy have come just short. But it would have been brilliant if Carlson had got 100 and stayed in to hit the winning runs. That would have really been a captain's performance. But it's a good start for Ray Toole, but it's just one of those games that didn't quite work out. But looking ahead to the Hampshire game, their last game was against Yorkshire and they lost that game. Another close one, they lost by only 39 runs. Yorkshire batted first, got 173, and Hampshire got 197, so they got their first innings lead. But then in Yorkshire's second innings, they got 301, and Hampshire were all out for 238. Yeah, so 39 runs short. They are bottom, but they've generally been a solid top division side in the last decade. So maybe things are catching up with them where they are right now, being bottom. But personnel wise, their director of cricket is Giles White and Jimmy Adams is their batting coach. I'm not sure about their bowling coach. As far as sort of key personnel, well, Sonny Baker, who played that one test for England this summer, and Carl Abbott, been around a long, long time. Very good sort of steady bowler to have at this level. And Jake Lehman, son of Darren, he didn't do that well actually against Yorkshire. He got 7 and 2. So not a great game for him last time out. But their captain is Ben Brown and wicketkeeper. So you'd think Hampshire would look at this and think, well, they've got to really start. They're already best part of 20 points adrift, really, of ensuring that they stay up. So they need to win a good few of their last games. Can they probably only afford to lose one, I think.
News that's just dropped over the last hour or so that Sonny Baker is recalled to the Test squad for England
Oh, right.
against
Okay,
Pakistan because he's not in the squad. He's been dropped after his incident on the weekend after Durham beat Derbyshire. So that, obviously, from a global point of view, that depletes Hampshire's squad to our benefit, really. So thank you, Bryden, for doing that. You say it's going to be difficult, but can we do the double over them? I think we can.
Mhm.
I am remembering now from when I was listening to that game that the Hampshire commentator was bemoaning the direction where this team's going. I think they're in transition and they're trying to blood youngsters. And obviously, Morgan have been there and done that. And I think that's what he was alluding to. It felt that they were going to be in the relegation scrap back in May, and now it feels less some miraculous turnaround. Obviously, they can't sign players. They could get people on loan, I guess, but it feels that the relegation writing's on the wall, having looked at where they are on the table and they compare it with what was being said in May. So, yeah, we'll probably be favourites going into this. Like I said, a few victories there at home. Yeah, let's be more confident, I think. If we can get a win against Hampshire, a handsome win, like close to that 240 mark, then yeah, that bodes well, really. Obviously, you mentioned to me off the mic last week about we're playing Somerset early in September at Taunton. It's going to be a tough one. We know what the Taunton pitch does, and obviously they're in the hunt now, top of the league. So yeah, the game's going to get more trickier, more on them, which then builds pressure on individuals and clarity of thought, etc. So this really is a game we must win in order to give us the breathing space and allow us to not to be under so much pressure going into September. First 11, knowing now how the captain, coach select the team, I can't see any changes being made to the top six. Can't see it. I think Billy Root will just be carrying the water again. I think that then means Mir Hamzan has to. I don't know why I don't know why we signed a Pakistan international and not then play him. Um, even though I think Ray 2's done really well. It is a dilemma, isn't it? We've got Pakistan international who's done really well left armour versus someone who's taken wickets in this game and in the second 11. And Tim Van Gogh needs a break, but I thought we'll stick with the same. It's a weird situation. I don't recall where we've had three overseas on our books for the last block of championship games. Yes, for the T20, we had it in the summer. And when we had Marnus, Ingram was clearly going to be rested and Marnus was always going to play. This, I don't know. Obviously, the other option is Ingram comes out and Billy Root goes in and then we play the two seamers. We're at home, so we should be preparing the pitch so we know what to expect. I think my gut says they're going to change Ray Toole and put Mir Hamzan in. That's what my gut says. What are your thoughts, Ed?
Okay, because they can play two overseas players.
Yes, but
So, of
Colin Ingram is the third.
course, so let's have a look. How did Colin Ingram do? So 14 and 13 against Leicestershire. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be an interesting one then, isn't it? But you'd think they're going to play Toole and Hamza. So intrigued to see.
Yeah, because I think up until the Leicester match, Colin was one of our main championship run scorers in the championship. A lot of experience, and this coaching setup doesn't really like to make chop and changes too much. And I'm still not sure about Callaway coming in at 4. He got scores of 7 and 8. Not don't know why they've decided for him. So potentially leaving Ingram out then, and I think they would then play Hamza and Toole, and they could rest Van der Gerten because I think he is a risk that we're going to overbowl him. We know we need to win this. We play Van der Gerten, Hamza, Toole, and we take out Galvin, and Billy Root comes in for Colin Ingram. They could do that. Interesting decision to make. I think probably the most interesting decision of the season.
But I am torn. I think if you're going to win game, you need batting. I would probably
Uh,
say you need batting over bowling in a way. That's probably what I'd lean towards. Therefore, you want to keep your best batsman in. If Ingram didn't have a great game against Leicestershire, but not many people did. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen there then.
and if we're preparing the wicket, we obviously got Callaway and Crane. We know how we're going to prepare a wicket. It's going to be probably slow. So that then
Mm.
probably does mean that you only need one of the two overseas bowlers. And I go back to my gut. I think it's going to be Mir Hamzan's going to come in for Toole. And they keep Toole there to maybe rotate with Van Gerten and then make the changes if they have to. I think you've convinced me that we will stick with the top 7, really, with Crane at 7. And then it have to be Van Gerten, Gorvin again, and then Mir Hamza then. We start this game on August 27th, so we're recording on the 24th, so we're a couple of days away before they name the squad. This will be the last game where we'll be starting at 11 o'clock because when we go into September, it's 10:30 start. So already approaching the final sort of home straight when you start doing the 10:30 starts in the Red Bull game. I feel a lot better after conversation with Ed. Looking forward to Hampshire and getting back to being in winning position and actually trying and getting the points to solidify our position in the Championship Division 1. My thanks to Ed and thanks to everyone for downloading and subscribing and following us. We will be back post Hampshire, dissect hopefully a victory, and look forward to recording that and releasing it for you sometime next week. That leaves me to say bye for now and go Glammy.